OpenAI literally says their definition of AGI is to create AI systems that will be able to outperform most humans at economically valuable work. That is a labor automation machine. And they're doing it under this civilizing mission where they're saying, like, ultimately, this is for the benefit of all of humanity. But what we're seeing is that's not true.
One of the central arguments of your book is that OpenAI and the sort of AI industry in general has become an empire. It's the title of your book, Empire of
Yeah.
AI, and that is done so by exploiting people and resources around the world for their own benefit. Sketch that argument for us.
Yeah. So if we think about empires of old, the long, centuries long history of European colonialism. They effectively went around the world, laid claim to resources that were not their own, but they designed rules that suggested that they suddenly were. They exploited a lot of labor, as in they didn't pay the labor or they paid extremely little amounts to the labor that ultimately helped to fortify the empire. And all of that, like resource extraction, labor exploitation, went and accrued benefits to the empire. And they did this all under like a justification of a civilizing mission. They're ultimately doing this to bring progress and modernity to the rest of the world. And we're literally seeing empires of AI effectively do the same thing. And what I say in the book is like they are not as overtly violent as empires of old. We've had 150 years of like social mores and progress. So there isn't that kind of overt violence today, but they are doing the same thing of laying claim to resources that are not their own. That includes like the labor of a lot of artists and a lot of writers. That includes all of the data that people have put online that they've just scraped in these internet loads of data sets. That includes exploiting labor of the people who they contract to help clean their models and annotate the data that goes into their models. That also includes like labor exploitation in the sense that they are building technologies that are ultimately like OpenAI literally says their definition of AGI is to create AI systems that will be able to outperform most humans at economically valuable work. That is a labor automation machine. So they're also exploiting labor in the sense that they're creating these AI systems that will dramatically make it more difficult for workers to kind of demand rights. And they're doing it under this civilizing mission where they're saying, like, ultimately, this is for the benefit of all of humanity. But what we're seeing is that's not true. When you go far and away from Silicon Valley, when you go to places like the Global South, when you go to rural communities, impoverished communities, marginalized communities, they really feel like the brunt of this AI development, this extraction and this exploitation, and they're not at all receiving any of the supposed benefits of this accelerating AI quote unquote progress.
Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop us. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop us. Everyone turn on your